This little kid, man, that walked 20 miles, that was really inspiring to me. Especially nowadays, young people nowadays, they don't have that type of, you expect to hear that from an old dude. I didn't have nothing, I walked this far, then we ran. But this, for a young cat, that's really, really inspirational, man. It kind of kills all the excuses that you can come up with. And I wish people of all ages would kind of take heed to stuff like that. Man, God has an incredible life for you. He really does. But you ain't gonna get there if you give up. You can't get to what God got for you if you stop. You can't get to what God got for you if you're afraid. Now I know taking chances is kind of fretful. But the best things in life is on the other side of fear. But one of the things that I've always done to help overcome my fears is I make my dreams bigger than all my fears. I have dreams that's so big that not getting there is just unacceptable. It doesn't make any sense for you not to have the life that you dream of. It does not make any sense. God really does want to use you as an example of what he can do. You just got to volunteer. But you got to be willing to go through something to get to it. Success ain't free. They ain't passing out money, man. Anybody sending none to your house. That ain't how this works. You got to go get it. But in order to go get it, you got to want something. You got to have vision boards. You got to have stuff you dream about. You got to have this stuff written down. That being successful is not an accident. You can go to school to be successful if you want to, but I know a lot of people that's got degrees that ain't working right now. I got a partner that's out of work right now. You know what he told me? I'm going to go back to school, get another degree. And you got one that ain't working for you. What you need with two of them. You got to find a way to become successful. Success is not necessarily tied in an education. Now, if you want to be a doctor, lawyer, scientist, we understand. You got to go to school. You got to get educated. But what about if you me, though? What happened if you me? If you ain't got no education? Education ain't in the Bible. I ain't read a scripture yet that had UCLA in it. Harvey. I ain't read one yet. It does talk about your dreams and your visions. You got to want something. Hey, man, stop thinking, man, that your life is over because you're a certain age. Who are you to determine? You know what I can't stand when I hear Christians say, well, I guess it was the Lord's will. If it was the Lord's will, I would have had some money by now. No, you can't dump that on God. God's will is that you prosper. That's his will. Now, the fact that you done made some adverse decisions to stop your prosperity train from happening, don't dump that on him. God comes to give you life and give you life more abundantly. That's what he say. Well, then the question is, where your abundant at? You're going down to church, you're memorizing all these scriptures. Why don't you apply some of them? He come to give you life and give you life more abundantly. God got a great life for you, man, but you got to want something. You got to want it, you got to write it down. Most people don't have what they want in life because it ain't written down nowhere. But you go to church, you done heard that scripture, but I guess you thought they wasn't talking to you. Habakkuk 2:2 says, you must write the vision and make it plain so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it tarry, that means take a long time. Wait for it, for surely it will come at an appointed time. That's a scripture. That's a scripture. Say no philosophy. This a fact. What you waiting on? Write it down. Put some faith on it. And then get ready to go to work. Sitting up in, you can believe in God all you want, but if you don't work, man, it ain't going to happen. Because he told you that, though. He said faith without works is dead. I'm just asking you, man, to try something new. If you've tried everything, it ain't worked for you. I'm just asking you, just try writing it down. Just try writing it down. Go home and read Habakkuk 2:2 and see if you don't get the feeling he's talking to you. After you write it down, I want you to put some faith on it. When you put some faith on it, I want you to work for it. I want you to believe in your heart that you will have it. How you can't have it? Explain to me how God won't give you a house. Just help me with that. I just want to talk to you for a minute. If you've never been a homeowner, why won't God give you a house? It's just a house. They're building them every day. You know how I got land? I'll tell you a quick story and let you go. You know how I got land? I was homeless. And I used to fish all the time. I wasn't fishing playing. I was fishing catching fish because I drive to a rest area because I kept charcoal in my trunk. And when I got to them little grills on the side of the rest area, I'd take my charcoal and I'd fry my fish. But I was always fishing somewhere illegally because I ain't own no lake or nothing. And I catch a string of bass, probably get 6, 7 on there. Hey, what are you doing over here? Get away, get out of here. I pull my string up. Hey, them fish don't belong to you. Let them fish go. I got to take all them fish off the hook and throw it back in the water. He didn't know, man, that I'm trying to eat, but I can't break no law, so I got to go on by my business. So first thing I said, I told God, I said, when I get me some money, I'm going to buy me a piece of land. Because I just want a piece of land where can't nobody run me off. I just want something I can stand on. This here piece belonged to me. So this how I did it. I was reading something one day, and I said, man, how much land is on earth? So I looked it up. It's a little over 36 billion acres of land on earth. A little over 36 billion acres. This is a fact. You can look it up. It's more than 36, but I rounded off 36 billion. At the time, it was between 5 and 6 billion people on earth. It's a little over 8 billion now. Back then, it was 4 to 6 billion people. So I did a little hood math. I said to myself, if it's 36 billion acres of land and it's 6 billion people, just to me, everybody ought to have 6 acres of land. If 6 billion people had 6 acres of land, that would be 36 billion. I figured, cool. So you know what I did? It was a scripture my mom used to tell me about all the time. She'd say, you have not because you ask not. So guess what I started asking for? 6 acres of land. Just wanted 6. So I messed around and got my first piece of money. I got me a check for about $115,000. So first thing I did, went to Dallas, Texas, said I'm gonna buy me some land. I found a piece of land, I thought it was perfect. Had a fishing lake at the end of it, because I love to fish. So on this little strip was this acre, had little hills in it. I said, man, this piece I'm gonna buy right here. Let me talk to somebody. I was with a real estate agent. He pulled it up. He said, I said, how much is this? He said, it's $250,000. I said, God, dog, I got $115,000. I said, man, I can't afford this. He said, well, how much you got? I said, I got about 115. He said, I don't think you're gonna be able to get it for that, but I'll make a call. So he called the guy. The guy said he would take 115 now and I could pay him the rest later. And before I did it, I said, hey man, let me ask you something. How much land is that? He said, oh, that's 6 acres. It was 6 acres. So I said, oh man, look at here. I'm gonna get this dude this 115. I'm gonna make payments on this land till I own it. And the way I did it, since I ain't had good credit, I told him, I said, I'll make payments on it, and at the end, when I owe you the last payment, if I don't have the payment, you can keep all the money and don't give me the land. He said, let's sign that up. I got ready to sign it up. The real estate agent said, Mr. Harvey, before you sign that, I want you to think about it. I want to show you something else. So he took me over to this dude's house. I never met this guy. He came outside. He's a hillbilly, because he talked. He was just country. I was a little nervous. Me and hillbillies we don't normally work that good together. His name was Jerry Campbell. Turned out to be one of the nicest men I ever met. I misjudged the man. But his kids came downstairs, and I was on Showtime at the Apollo. His kids saw me and knew who I was. I wasn't famous like I am today. So he talked to me, he said, I want to show you something. So he took me next door, and just the twang in his voice had me a little scared because, I don't want no trouble, man. I'm hood, and, I don't like all that. You say something crazy to me, I ain't really there yet. So he said, I want you to take a look at this land I got. And I go over there, and I couldn't believe it, man. It had rolling hills on it. It had 4 lakes on it. I was smoke fishing ponds. I said, man, look at this right here. I said, man, how many acres is this, man? He said, 16 acres. I said, man, I can't afford nothing like that. He said, well, hold on. I'm in a tide right now. How much you got? I said, well, I was going to do this other piece of land. I got 115 I'm going to pay now. And if you give me a year to pay out the rest of it, I could buy it from you like that. He said, tomorrow morning, if you bring me a $115,000 check, I'm going to give you this 250 acres of land. So I went, well, it's 16 acres of land, I'm sorry, for $250,000. So I got the 16 acres of land the next day. So I said, wow, that's how it worked. You have not because you ask not. I asked for 6. Soon as I was going to buy the 6, he put some grace on it. Next thing you know, I got 16 for the same money. So I got to thinking. I said, wow, you have not because you ask not. 6 billion people in the world, 36 billion acres. Everybody ought to have 6. I got 16. So I got to thinking. I got a couple partners in Cleveland that's locked up. They not getting out of prison. So I asked God, could I have a 6? They not getting out. They got 6 coming. Hey, Lord, can I have a 6? So you know what he did? Some land opened up next to it. I bought 18 more acres. I bought it. I kept on buying it. Then I said, wow. So I went back up to Cleveland. I was hanging out one day. My boys was on the corner. I told them, I said, look, man, I can't hang out on corners no more. I'm trying to get my TV career started. Oh, you done changed, man. This what's happening. So now you done got this little money. You done forgot where you from. I said, okay, hey, Lord, can I have A6 too? So I see right now. Yeah, I see what's happening right there. They ain't finna go nowhere. They think standing on this street like singing, drinking wine is what's happening. Just, hey, God, can I have A6? So I kept asking for everybody I thought wasn't gonna ask for their 6. I asked for their 6. I ended up owning almost 300 acres of land in Denton County, Texas. All because of one scripture. You have not because you ask not. Most people ain't rich today because you ain't never asked God, could you be rich? Most people don't have the house of their dreams because they ain't never asked God for the house of their dreams. You've been trying to figure it out. Well, how that's been working out for you. Because you know the problem with figuring it out? It's hard to figure it out, ain't you? It's hard to figure out how to be a millionaire, ain't it? If you could figure that out, you'd be a millionaire by Friday. You understand? But I just kept on, man. Just kept on with it. I just kept the faith. I kept believing. I kept asking him. I kept wanting. God got great life for you, man. But you're going to have to ask for it. And when you ask for it, you're going to have to believe it. After you believe it, you got to put your work in. Now, if you don't want to do the work that it takes to be successful, this man with his success, if you knew how hard he worked, if you knew the hours he put in, the hours his daddy put in, if you knew what it really took, it's daunting. It's days, man, where you go, whoa, what is this I'm trying to do? But you got to hang in there. See, getting what you want is up to you. How you get there, that's up to God. See, the problem with you is you trying to figure out how to do something. Listen to this. The how-to ain't none of your business. The Bible don't tell you to figure nothing out. It say ask, believe, and receive. Now, see, you keep going down these churches, they keep telling you this, but you ain't listening. I'm asking you to listen. You can turn your life around if you change your attitude. You change your attitude, you change your altitude. Stop sitting in here with a life of mediocrity when that ain't what God created you for. Period. I'm telling you right now, you can go back to school, you can get another degree. You can get all the degrees you want. Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates don't have a degree between the two of them, but they got more degrees working for them than a thermometer. See, I hire people to do stuff I don't know how to do. See, I can't type. I can't write good. So I hire people to know how to write. I don't like numbers. All I know is what my check supposed to be. I know when I'm short. That's all I need to know. Now, all that how to do the taxes and stuff, I hire people for that. I don't like, doing a lot of things. The stuff I ain't good at, I hire. I don't like driving no more because I lived in a car. I drove everywhere. So I don't try to get somebody to drive. That's what you got to do. People, Steve, you in legal trouble. I got lawyers. Full time, all they do is worry about me. So I ain't got to worry about me. Now, you might not want this life. You might not want what it takes to get here. But if you want this life, you got to put in your work. You got to put it in. You got to stay prayerful. You got to never give up. You got to talk to God every day. Now, if that ain't what you want to do, then good luck. You keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. I would try something else if I was y'all. I appreciate y'all coming. Thank y'all very much. I just blew my 20s. I ended up spending all of my 30s fixing what I messed up in my 30s. I spent all of my 40s doing what I could have been doing in my 30s. I looked up, man, I had let too much time slip away. If you could get young people to get their foot on the gas pedal in their 20s, because right now they think going out is everything. And I keep telling them, man, you're gonna outgrow that in a minute. Because, like at this age, it's when somebody says, hey, we're going to go out to a club tonight. What? Go out to a club? Are you kidding me? It don't make no sense to you now because you're over that. But it takes a minute for them to understand that, man. It's sad. I wish they'd get it. But I wasn't clubbing in my 20s. I didn't know how to make a vision board. I didn't know how to. What really changed my life, man, was I got in Amway when I was about 24. I got in Amway. And that changed my life, man, because the first time ever, they introduced me to self-help books. And I read 2 books that changed my life. It was The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale and The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. I read them books and it changed my life. But it also made me remember what my mother had taught me because she was a Sunday school teacher, because all self-help books are Bible-based. Everything comes from the Bible. All them self-help books, that's Proverbs. That's all it is. It's the book of wisdom and understanding. If you could read that, it'd change your life too. But sometimes you need, regular books where you can relate to it differently. But it's all comes from the Bible. It's like a great book is The Secret. But if you read The Secret, it's all Bible versed. I mean, it's just based on the Bible. You can't think of nothing new how to tell a person to succeed without the Bible. You can't. It doesn't work that way, you know. So,
All right, families, mask off, please.
a couple of books changed my life, man. But the magic of thinking big was huge for me. It just taught me one simple principle. It don't cost no more energy to think big than it does small. You can say Volkswagen and you can say Rolls Royce with the same amount of effort. You ain't got to grunt to say Rolls Royce. So if the Bible is true, which it says a man is as he thinketh, if you think poor thoughts, you got to be poor. The moment you change that thought into wealth or riches, you start the process to becoming wealthy or rich. It's not a magic trick. It's really how it works. People complicate it. You got to do this and you got to do that. But the Bible's pretty plain. They ain't got no loopholes in it. Really don't. It's just real simple. It say what it say. All you got to do is believe it's talking to you. That's what it is. Most people don't think that God is talking to them, that I come to give you life and give you life more abundantly. You don't think he's talking to you? He'll give you life more abundantly. He do. He really will. You ain't got to be rich to have an abundant life. Sometimes you just need to be healthy, happy. You know, you could be really happy, man, making $70,000 a year. You really, really can. You don't need a few million. I did, but you didn't need a few. It helped me a little bit. But to be honest, it didn't make me happy. It really didn't. Until you need God to be happy. So I ain't no preacher, so we got ministers in the room, so I'm just telling y'all from a hood perspective what I did to get here. You can go to church and hear it, or take it from a dude that come out the bottom, ain't got nothing. Ain't gonna pass no offering tray. I don't really care. If you don't believe me, you ain't got to.